Hey, have you noticed that over the last several years, we've seen a full-on revival of the aesthetics of the 8-bit generation? Who am I kidding? Of course you have. It's completely inescapable. Where's the 16-bit revivals? The 32-bit? Now those are the ones that I'm most excited about. But as it turns out, they've been here for a while, and I had no idea. Kickstarted in 2013, Freedom Planet from Galaxy Trail is every pixel in homage to the era of the mascot platformer. They were in abundance during the 16 and 32-bit generations. It would have made sense on any 32-bit platform, but let's be honest, it would have been right at home in the Sega Saturn library. Freedom Planet was originally pitched as a mashup of Sonic the Hedgehog, Mega Man, and Gunstar Heroes. That sounds pretty awesome. But then, someone described it to me that it was more like if Treasure had made a Sonic game. Alright, I'm in. Originally released in July of 2014, I didn't know about Freedom Planet till Nintendo put a demo up on the eShop during E3 2015. Since I tend to be mainly a console gamer these days, I resisted the urge to go buy it right then on Steam and wait for the final Wii U release. At least there, I could use my good old Club Nintendo Super Famicom Classic controller. Freedom Planet's influences are immediately apparent. High speeds, loop-the-loops, and springs are all things that bring to mind the good Sonic the Hedgehog games. Well, at least the ones that I liked. The two main characters even fit the part. Lilac and Carol look like they could blend right in with Sonic's friends that everyone loves to complain about. But, you know, that's where the big Sonic comparisons end. In the upper left-hand corner, both characters have a life meter, symbolized by these red leaves. The blue meter above it is your special meter. This gauge fills up automatically, but it can be sped up by collecting these blue crystal things. Actually, other than basic attacks, both characters play surprisingly different from each other.
Careful what you wish for!
Lilac!
Lilac is a purple dragon who can do a double jump spin move and attack vertically with a dragon punch or a drop kick. When her special meter is maxed out, she can unleash a move called the Dragon Boost. This move allows her to fly at high speeds, dealing multiple hits of damage to enemies. She can also ricochet off walls and reach normally inaccessible areas.
Are you okay? I saw a huge explosion back there.
You've been following me this whole time, haven't you?
Duh.
Carol the Wildcat can climb up walls Mega Man X style, allowing her to reach areas that even Lilac's Dragon Boost might not be strong enough to get to. Her special meter allows her to let out a flurry of kicks which does heavy damage. In addition, you might see these gas cans lying around. Pick one up and Carol can summon a motorcycle that opens up all new attacks and traversal methods. There's also a few different shields that you can pick up by destroying these large crystal blocks. But you know, I don't really know what each one does because there's nothing on them in the digital manual. I just know that the yellow ones pull in nearby crystals and that they've saved my butt more than once.
Huh? Where are you going?
I have to make sure they're okay.
Can't you be Little Miss Hero Pants some other time?
Not a chance!
Fine, I'll go by myself. Yippee.
You choose between Carol and Lilac at the start of one of two modes. Adventure mode plays out the story of Freedom Planet over 9 levels, which are each bookended with fully voiced cutscenes. However, if you just want to play without having to mash the buttons to skip through the cinema scenes every so often, there's a classic option available. This mode removes all the story bits, making for a seamless experience. There's also a third playable character, Mila, that can be unlocked to play in this mode, complete with her own levels and moveset. So you're probably wondering, is there really so much story here that you need an entire extra mode to cut those parts out? As it turns out, yes, very much so. On the planet Avalis, 3 countries are pitted against each other when an evil galactic conqueror named Brevin steals a sacred object called the Kingdom Stone.
Contact the crash site and tell them to refit our warp drive. I want the artifact to fit like a glove.
As you wish, sir.
We're getting off this rock.
It's up to our heroes to stop him, but first, they must unite the 3 kingdoms to fight for a common good. Hey, maybe it's not anything special or revolutionary, but I enjoyed seeing how it played out.
Let's show this green maniac how to save a planet!
From valleys all the way to outer space aboard Brevin's Dreadnought, the 2 characters share almost exactly the same story over the course of adventure mode. At one point, their paths do separate and each gets a level exclusive to their story. But that's not to say both experiences are that similar. Since the 2 characters play so different, your paths through each level will likely present different challenges. Remember when I said that Freedom Planet would be right at home on the Sega Saturn? Well, that's because the sprite work here is pretty awesome. The levels themselves are brightly colored and have a ton of love put into them. It truly looks like a platformer of old. And maybe it's just me, but I love the way that you're just being completely bombarded with rotating sprites every step of the way. I've got to make a special note about Stage 4, the Sky Battalion. If you know me, then you know my love of giant airship battles in games. So it's no surprise that this immediately became my favorite level in the game. Simply awesome, and that music! Speaking of the music, it's amazing. It perfectly replicates that 32-bit era sound when CD soundtracks were still becoming the norm. I loved just about every level theme and found myself stopping just to listen. As soon as the credits rolled, I went and bought the soundtrack off of Galaxy Trail's Bandcamp. Also of note, as I mentioned before, everyone is fully voiced and the acting is really well done. If I had to nitpick at all, it would be that the audio levels vary between each character. Some sound fine, and others, the volume seems like it's way too low on their recording.
How did this happen? Our walls are impenetrable!
Your floor isn't.
Well, if death is what you seek, then I will gladly provide it!
So, was the "If Treasure Made a Sonic Game" description appropriate? Absolutely. In fact, I would say that it's not just Treasure, but also Konami's Genesis games that had to be a sizable influence. The game's steadily rising difficulty and huge bosses made up of giant rotating limbs makes that very clear. And to top it off, perhaps the most iconic Treasure-ism, a screen-filling explosion in slow motion when a boss dies.
We made it!
To say that I enjoyed Freedom Planet would be an understatement. It truly felt like I discovered a long-lost Saturn game that just so happened to appeal to a bunch of things that makes me love games the way that I do. Maybe I'm being overdramatic, but it simply clicked with me in a way that not a lot of games do these days. And that's going to keep me coming back for a long time to come.